Fear and Greed is the most recent DLC that has been released for Payday 3. I often like to give my thoughts or reviews for the DLC whenever it releases, so of course I had to do the same exact thing with this one. I didn't want to jump the gun and release a review too early though, so this time I just kind of wanted it to marinate a little bit and to really just enjoy the heist, the weapons, the suits, everything that came out with it before giving my final thoughts on the DLC as a whole. So I can confidently say now that I have quite a bit of experience with all of the new content, so I feel qualified to actually say what I think about this DLC. Before we begin, as always, if you like the content and you want to see more of this on the channel, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Lets me know you guys want more Payday, and I'm always happy to oblige. Without further ado, let's talk about Fear and Greed. I like to begin with the weapons, then the suits, then the heist, since the heist will be like the beefiest portion of the video most likely. So weapons first. The weapons are absolutely fantastic in this pack. All three of them I would recommend. So first, the Spaz 12 or the Taz 12 is, in my opinion, the best shotgun in the game. Has a decent fire rate that does absolutely insane damage up close, does good damage at medium range, but obviously struggles at longer distances, which is, to be expected for shotguns. I love this shotgun personally and just can't imagine consistently using other shotguns over this one. Playing peekaboo with dozers with this shotgun is always satisfying, and it always gets the job done as well. So if you haven't already, give this bad boy a try. You won't be disappointed, especially as you unlock attachments for the Taz 12. Next, the Jackknife SE5. So when I first saw this, I had already pretty much casted judgment or just kind of wrote it off and was like, this weapon will suck. It's not going to be good. It's just a standard pistol. Honestly, to my surprise, this thing is really good. It has great fire rate, good range, and outclasses all of their semi-auto pistols, besides the Viper, but we'll get to that in a moment, if you want to count the Viper, I guess. Is it my favorite secondary? No. The Bull Kick and Viper is still the best in my opinion, but this is a really solid pick, and I feel like it finally brings us an actual good, quote-unquote, normal pistol that has been lacking in the secondary roster of pistols. Now, time for the star of the show of the weapons, Garstini Viper 50 AE. I mean, come on, what do you want me to say? It's a deagle. Thing hits like a truck, insane damage, great distance. You can easily mag dump a dozer because of its good fire rate. It's just chef's kiss. The attachments on it are great as well. You can add more range with the barrel if you wanted. You get the silencer at max level, which is nice. You can even get an extended mag on it. In my opinion, it outclasses the Payday 2 deagle as well, but let's be honest, the Payday 2 deagle wasn't like that great in comparison to other secondaries. It was all right. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't that great. But in terms of how powerful it is here on Payday 3, the deagle is much better than the one that was on Payday 2. It is slightly weaker than the Bull Kick, which isn't surprising, but the fact you can get up to 11 rounds in a magazine with the extended mag and 8 with the standard just makes this thing so good. I would say as of now, this is probably the best secondary in the game. I still prefer the Bull Kick personally because, you get the cool flip reload, but the deagle is so good and the gun alone makes this weapon pack worth the pickup. One thing I did want to make sure I mentioned along with the weapons was the Argus minigun, which is the new overkill weapon that everybody gets for free. This weapon is just amazing. It's extremely fun to use, easy to mow down enemies, takes down dozers no problem, which I would hope you would be able to do with a minigun, and makes defending positions or pushing objectives feel like you're in an action movie. So Starbreeze honestly just killed it with this one. Now let's talk about the cosmetics. So I won't spend too much time on these because cosmetics are very subjective on what people do and don't like. What I will say though is I like all of the masks, especially the rabbit masks. Some of my favorite masks were from Hotline Miami and Payday 2, so animal masks are always good in my opinion. The suits are also really solid. I especially love the power play suit and almost always have it equipped since I got it. I like how casual the suit is while also still being classy. I feel like it definitely hits the Wall Street kind of vibe that they were going for with this update and heist and everything. The other suits are all right too. I just don't like them personally as much as the Power Play suit. The Mad Dog suit is actually pretty cool because you have like the zip ties on your arm, which is similar to Wolf's default suit. So if you didn't want to play Wolf or couldn't because someone else had taken him, but you wanted to retain that kind of style, then there you go. The gloves are all right too, but I don't really have any strong opinion on gloves in general, considering I kind of just use, or I guess really just like using, the default gloves or the covert gloves, which is just a black version of the default. I don't really have much to say there. They're all right too. The studded gloves are definitely cool though, in my opinion, because I mean, come on, you got cool studded gloves. Who doesn't like that? And I've used the studded gloves some while I was playing, but I still just kind of end up going back to the default gloves for me personally. All right, so I feel like we pretty much covered cosmetics and weapons, so let's talk about the main attraction here, and that's the heist. So Fear and Greed offers a really, really fun experience on Loud. As some of you may know, I'm not a stealth guy. But stealth has basically the same objectives as Loud, and some people aren't going to like this, especially if you are a stealth player. But for me, doing this heist partway stealth and then transitioning to Loud makes it really easy for me, as I know exactly what I'm doing and how to do it. So in my opinion, I feel like this heist replayability is really great. There's not a lot of deviation except for where you're plugging in the USB or where the initial office spawn is, but in my opinion, I think that's fine. I like that the objectives may seem mundane because where the deviation actually lies in this heist is the gunfights. Spawns on Fear and Greed are absolutely wild, and with the modifiers right now being that it spawns 2 of the same special, it's absolutely crazy. It's a crazy fight for your life, which is exactly what I'm wanting, especially if I'm playing Overkill. I want it to be hard, right? I don't want it to be easy. And so navigating objectives, having coherent teammates who work objectives with you, and bringing the right weaponry is absolutely essential if you want to succeed in Fear and Greed on Overkill Loud. One thing I did want to bring up though is the blue color filter inside the actual trade market area though. Some say that this is like a make or break issue, and originally I felt that that was such a stupid remark, and to completely say that a heist has failed because of the color is just absurd, which I still kind of feel that way, but my perspective did change a little bit when someone in the Discord server told me that the filter, when watching someone else play it, makes them have almost like a nauseous reaction to the gameplay and makes them a little bit dizzy, kind of a headache. And I hadn't really thought of that perspective before, of maybe it could cause some illnesses or make you feel sick because of the color shift and changes. I understand that, you know, I hadn't really thought of it being like that because the color shift is a little jarring, right? And I could see why people might hate it so much. So, but even after recognizing that and hearing that from people, I still think it is my personal favorite heist in the game because it is such an enjoyable experience and complete package of a heist. So you can see that Starbreeze is trying to give like new things, wanting to give fresh experiences and different takes to these heists, and I think it's only right that we encourage them to keep going with these kinds of changes because this heist does something different from the rest of the heists, right? And it's really enjoyable. But besides that, there was another thing I want to bring up, and it was going for max loot in this heist, which I personally, it's just every time I play a heist, that's just kind of one of my goals, is to get all the loot, right? And will honestly die doing so. I know going for max loot specifically in this heist can be a major talking point for some people because some people don't really like how it's handled. I like how it's handled for the most part, right? I know there's no bags to secure, which I can understand people being like upset about that, but it gives me such an undercover, as in the heist, undercover feel to the heist that it doesn't like bother me personally because I'm used to heists doing that. So not having loot bags, I don't think is a bad thing, and I'm personally okay with it. One little gripe that I do have though is that you seem like you wait around for quite some time, like for a while. I'm not sure it's actually that long, but it does seem to be a while. So if I could change something, it'd be that after all objectives are completed, maybe like the money would increase in speed that you're getting. The money that you're getting will increase in speed, so it goes a little bit faster. It seems like you're just waiting around for a lot longer than you should be, and during that entire time, you're most likely, if I remember correctly, you're on final charge, so you're just sitting there trying to survive. Although it's fun, and maybe that's what they were going for, is to make that more of a challenge, going for all of that loot, so you're gonna have to sit around for a while. But man, does it like it feels like way longer than it should be. Last thing about this heist that I just can't miss, and it's the music. The music is absolutely impeccable. The jazz mix to the EDM is absolutely amazing, and the composer really just decided to make one of the best heist tracks in the game. Just all right, for this one, it's going to be amazing. You guys don't get a choice in the matter. And to be fair, all the music in Payday 3, I actually thoroughly enjoy. I think it's really well done, but this one in particular is just really freaking good. Overall, this heist is just an amazing experience. So all in all, I feel like this particular update was excellent. I have very few gripes, and the ones that I do have, I feel like are very minimal. Maybe not to others, but to me, they feel very minimal, such as changing the blue filter and making the timer on the money a little faster after completing objectives in the heist. I have no gripes about the weapons, the cosmetics, or the way the heist itself operates outside of making the money go a little bit faster for full loot if you wanted. I would seriously recommend purchasing this DLC if you're considering it, and I would at least recommend the weapon pack if nothing else. I believe at the time of recording this video, Payday 3 is on sale until like September 23rd or 24th, I can't remember exactly. So if you haven't played Payday 3 yet, there's no better time to get into it, because I believe that Starbreeze, after this update, Starbreeze is going to continue to head in the right direction, and that year 2 is about to be an absolute banger for Payday 3, and it's only up from here, because we saw that from Houston Breakout. Now we're into Fear and Greed, and I feel like it just keeps getting better and better, and I am absolutely loving these updates. With all of that said, what did you guys think about Fear and Greed? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know down in the comments below. But also, please be civil. It seems like people are very angry and feel very strongly about this update. Even though I love it, please be kind. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Alright, watch this, watch this. Watch the animation!
That's amazing.
That's so good.